Hey, Twin Cities, it's your good friend, it's your pal, it's your compadre, it's TC, everybody. How you doing? What's going on the big show today? This is, episode 11 of Hey, Twin Cities. And if you're listening to an old episode via iTunes, you know that I made it there. Woohoo! Very nice, sexy. But at the moment, just doing the shows and posting them via YouTube. One of the things that I'm doing here is I want to prove to myself that I can get my chops back and that I can, do it on a consistent basis. And here we are, early to the game. You can find the big show, Hey Twin Cities, every Tuesday and Friday on HeyTC.com. That's T as in twin, C as in cities. And also on YouTube at the moment. Very nice, right? Of course, you can email the show at tc@heytc.com if you want to send me an email, because I want to be your first customer. So what's the show all about? Of course, there's 3 parts to this show at the moment as it evolves. The first part is my journey, why I'm angry, bitter, scared, happy, discombobulated, horny, maybe not. Oh, dear God, please. So, got a couple of topics to get to in my journey today. And then also a little Twin Cities talk, because after all, I am born and raised in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, West Side, when I was growing up, now living on the East Side. Isn't that a Good Times theme? I think it is, something like that. East Side, something, I don't know, whatever. I'm getting sidetracked here. So a little Twin Cities talk today, a lot of stuff to cover. Chris Cook, KSTP, St. Croix River Bridge, no Timberwolves trades, apparently at the NBA trade deadline, lots of stuff. And then the last part of the show is something I like to call First Customer. I don't know if anybody will ever contact me and say, hey, TC, I want to be your first customer. But the point of this is that I want to help the people who want to help themselves. We become such a welfare state almost in the United States. Not as bad as, of course, those loser countries over in Europe. Ooh, not so good there, Al. But here in the United States, it seems like so many people are now on disability and welfare and unemployment. And what's the other one? I forget. Anyways, but not important. But, or if you got a crappy job, you're suffering with a crappy job, well, maybe you're working over in Burnsville or, maybe in Hopkins with a crappy job, and you're thinking, I could start my own business. This is what I'm good at. I'm good at making scissors. Kind of an odd thing to be good at, but you never know. Somebody's got to make scissors, right? Somebody's got to make staplers. You take Milton's stapler. Milton needs a new stapler. Otherwise, he's going to put strychnine in the guacamole. You don't want that. A little Office Space love there. So I'm losing my train of thoughts, man. I got 1,000 things going through my mind, and that's part of my journey. So anyways, first customer is I want to be your first customer, and then I want to feature you on the show. I want to talk about your product. Hopefully you make a good product. And then I want to also mention it on the Hey Twin Cities website. A website, which is twincities.com. No, that's the Pioneer Press website. That's not right. It's heytc.com. Woo! I have no focus today. That's for sure. All right, so let's get the show started. A little my journey here on a Friday in CCO land. And one of the things from on Tuesday's show of this past week, we do the show every Tuesday and Friday here at HTC. And I noticed that I was very over-modulated in spots, because maybe I'm talking a little louder, getting a little more passionate, getting into doing this. So one of the things that I'm doing today is I'm sitting back in my desk chair and letting the mic, let there be about, maybe about a foot and a half of space between me and the mic, because it's kind of a bi-directional mic. And trust me, I'm looking at it and I can tell it's bi, baby. Woo-wee! It's going both ways, if you know what I mean. So literally, I guess it could go both ways, but that's another subject unto itself. But so hopefully this show won't be too soft. No pun intended once again. And then hopefully I can stop saying and anyways. That's one of my goals here. Hence doing the show, you know. If you go back and listen to Howard Stern or Rush Limbaugh or anybody in radio, Steve Cannon, John Hines back in the WLOL days, you know, people get, the more you do it, the better you get, you know. That's my philosophy on sex, broadcasting, and on eating brownies. So, and that's not a pun. Please, dear God, that's not a pun. Dirty bird. Anyway, so let's say there I did the and the anyway. So, oh God, help me. But anyways, that's it's a nervous reaction, I think. There you go. Anyways. Damn it. So, hopefully the show will sound less crazy than it usually sounds. Well, it's past that point right now, but the over-modulation, hopefully I'm fixing that. I'm going to try to have some self-control when it comes to talking on mic. And I know I also need to slow down because I get a little excited when it comes to discussion points. And then I get the uhs in there, and I don't want the uhs in there. So anyways, yeah. All right. Will the show be on iTunes soon? That's the $20 question. Probably not, because one of the things that I want to do, hey, I just had a thought. I think if I had dramatic pauses, I think I'm scared of the dramatic pause. So when I have an idea and there's a pause, I tend to say or anyways. So what I need to do is stop doing the So I'm self-diagnosing myself on the air here, seeing how I'm doing. So anyways, get back to the iTunes thing. One of the reasons why I'm doing the show is I want to get my chops back, as I said at the beginning of the show. And also, I want to prove that I can do the show, and I figure I'm not going to bother posting it on iTunes and be one of those, litany of shows on there where you find a show and it's like, last show date was September 9th, 2008. Or some other show date is, December 15th of 2010. And it's like, what happened to these shows? So I don't want to be like that. That's a dramatic pause. So that's my journey at the moment. I'm feeling pretty good today. I've been kind of in a funk here all week, but coming out of it. So, yeah. And quit with the ums. There I go again. All right. All right, let's get to some Twin Cities talk today. Lots to talk about. The St. Croix River Bridge will be built. Hallelujah. That is my middle finger going out to all of my friends at the Sierra Club who have blocked this bridge for 15 to 20 years. We're finally going to build it. As I think an article in the Star Tribune pointed out, everybody says, oh, you're damaging the beauty in the landscape. Maybe a little bit on the Wisconsin side. But I was watching a video, if you do a search for the St. Croix River project, St. Croix River Bridge project, you'll come across a video. It's like a 15-minute video, and it's all 3D animation. It looks like a computer game where, you show you driving across the St. Croix, what it's going to look like, driving back from Wisconsin, blah, blah, blah. Everybody says, oh, everybody's going to move to Wisconsin. Well, trust me, if the Democrat Party gets control of the governorship back in Wisconsin, nobody going to move to Wisconsin. Have you been to Wisconsin and checked out the tax rates there? No wonder why the people voted for Scott Walker. They were probably sick of paying all those taxes. And that's another rant for me at some point in the future, because my mom and my aunts went through that, where they eventually had to move out of their homes because they're on fixed they're on fixed incomes, and they couldn't afford the taxes. It was just ridiculous over in Wisconsin. We actually went house hunting in Hudson. It's like, my God, the taxes are insane. So anyways, no wonder why the teachers unions were so mad down there protesting in Wisconsin about a year ago. That's their bread and butter, man. All that money trucking in to the unions via property taxes and the school systems there. Anyways, but So obviously, I disagree with the high taxes and the school teacher union. So, but that's another subject unto itself. So the St. Croix River Bridge signed into law by President Obama. He, of course, went out of his way to congratulate Amy Klobuchar on doing a great work on the project. No mention of Michelle Bachmann. So I will be the bigger man, Mr. President, and I will say congratulations to Amy Klobuchar for doing a nice job on getting that through. Also, Michelle Bachmann. And Governor Dayton, I gotta say, was behind this, behind the bridge. So I appreciate that as well. And then, of course, Senator Al Franken, was behind it. The new representative in my district here on the east side, Betty McCollum, was not in favor of it. And neither was Keith Ellison. I think those were the two Minnesota representatives that did not get behind this. Not really a surprise, but as I mentioned a couple shows ago, both of those people are going to benefit heavily because of the fact that the bridge is going to cost what, $628 million? No, $728 million, something like that. It was $628 million. The initial estimate was $690 million, $700 million to build the bridge. Sounds ridiculous, but of course it's being built by the unions. It's being built by the government. So of course it's just going to be one massive waste of money, which in turn, of course, will lead to the fact that a lot of that money will be funneled back into the campaigns of say Michelle Bachmann or, Amy Klobuchar, or even Becky McCollum and Keith Ellison. They're going to, trust me, their hands are going to benefit from this some way, whether it's coming back to them in campaign contributions. Hey, Keith Ellison says, my cousin doesn't have a job, so can we hire him to put in the grasses that they're going to replant on Highway 36 there? Around in the Stillwater Oak Park Heights area? Well, sure, we'll give him a contract, says the state of Minnesota. Good. And then Keith Ellison's cousin gets a contract for let's do it for $800,000. And as part of that, maybe Keith Ellison sees a donation from his cousin for $50,000 to his campaign. Hey, you got to scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, right? That's the government these days. And then the same with Michelle Bachmann. Michelle Bachmann says, look what I have done. I've got my brother-in-law who runs this trucking company. And we could have him come in, and we could give him $1.5 million contract, and maybe I'll see a donation from that trucking company. What are the odds, man? What are the odds? So anyways, but I'm glad they're building the bridge. As I was getting back to my original point, people have said, oh, it's going to damage the scenic view. But there's already a power plant down there. Anderson Windows is already down there. I mean, they're building the bridge right next to the power plant. So, I mean, that area is kind of damaged. And if you watch this video, it looks like they're going to put a lot of effort into making it look nice around there because it doesn't look that great at this point. So, I mean, maybe the Wisconsin side, of course, we're on the Minnesota side, so we can look across to the Wisconsin side and say, wow, isn't that beautiful? Now, if you're on the Wisconsin side and you look across, it's like, well, not so good, Al. But anyways, I'm happy the bridge is being built. Of course, I'm sure it could be built for $250 million, but that's another story altogether. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bam. Sucker. Hey, did you ever notice the TV stations in the Twin Cities seem to parrot everything the Star Tribune writes? It seems like the Star Tribune has, their writers that go out, they find the stories. I saw, I think it was a food truck story in the Star Tribune the other day. And then yesterday I was watching TV, and not only did Channel 11, Carol 11, have a story on the food trucks, and also Channel 9 had a story on the food trucks. I'm thinking to work at Fox 9 here in the Twin Cities or at Channel 11, you just show up, you read the Star Tribune and say, hey, why don't you go out and do a story on the food truck thing here that the Star Tribune featured? And then why don't you go out and do a story on the weather? Because obviously here in the back of the Star Tribune, it says it's going to be like 75 today. So we should do something on that. And then also in the Star Tribune, there's this article on, there's a story of, this rock photographer who's got a new book coming out. We should get him on. The show and do like an interview with him. There you go. Not too shabby, right? So I find it interesting. So I don't know. At least we know where the TV stations in the Twin Cities get their material. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Is there? No. I get some of my material there too, so I shouldn't be knocking it. What else is going on? Hey, I was watching this afternoon. I had a moment, and I was watching Twin Cities Live on KSTP. I don't know who the host and the hostess are on that show, but they were doing kind of the normal shtick where, the white guy, maybe a little pudgy, he's a dumb guy because he's white. And the chick is kind of making fun of him for having kind of the double chins. And I'm yelling at the TV, say that her thighs are too fat. Say that her thighs are too fat. Come on, dude, say it. Show me you're a man. Yeah, it's all in jest, right? That he's got the double chins and she's got the fat thighs. But no, it didn't come. So I was hoping, man, but yeah, that's just cruel, isn't it? No. Of course, she's a sexy little lady there on Channel 5, but I don't know what her name is. So maybe her and Leah McLean are sisters or something, for all I know. So, but I find it interesting that, and it's still fine because I don't have a problem because I am a white guy, and I don't have a problem if you make fun of me because I like making fun of people. And if you need to make fun of me, great. It's all in jest. I'm not trying to be cruel to anyone. I'd never try to be cruel to anyone. However, it's interesting that, and then what was it, last week or something, I was watching The Talk. Apparently I have too much time on my hands during the day. And I was watching The Talk on CBS Channel 4 here in the Twin Cities, which is basically kind of a poor man's view, which of course is a poor man's poor man, poor woman's perhaps. Anyways, I don't know who's on The View, Julie Chen, and one of the chicks that was on Roseanne Barr's show, the daughter, Sarah Michelle Gellar or something like that her name is. And then there's a couple of other chicks on the show who I don't know. And maybe someone else. I'm not sure. Anyways, but they were talking about, what were they talking about? They were talking about something. And they were talking about how women are being, the whole theme right now is women are being, portrayed very negatively. And I've got more respect for women every day, of course, because women are sexy, women are beautiful. The guys, not so much. But yeah. So anyways, I found it interesting that they were ranting. Well, no, I wasn't watching this. That's what it was. Jennifer was watching this and she was telling me about it where they were talking about blah, blah, blah. Women are not being treated respectful, blah, blah, blah. Poor me, blah, blah, blah. And then they bring Rick Springfield out because Jennifer's a big Rick Springfield fan. Not only because he's a good-looking guy, but the guy could write a song. I'm not going to kid you. I liked Human Touch, baby. Listening to WLOL, the top 9 at 9 back in 1983. I'd get so mad because I loved Human Touch, and Def Leppard's Rock of Ages would always be number 1 on the top 9 at 9, and Human Touch would be number 2. I get so mad. As it turns out, I became a rock guy, loving the Def Leppard, loving the Van Halen, so... But anyways, so she's watching The Talk because of Rick Springdon's going to be on, as I like to tease her. It's Rick Springfield, of course, but I call him Rick Springdon. So it turns out they're doing all this discussion. Oh, poor us, women are victims, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's a victim these days. And then they bring out Rick Springfield. Or women are treated as objects, blah, blah, blah. And what do they proceed to do, according to Jennifer, who, of course, is female? They treat Rick Springdon like a piece of meat. So it's just like the hypocrisy of it all. I don't know. I'm going crazy here. Going crazy out here at the lake. But, yeah, hypocrisy is a bad thing. I try not to be a hypocrite. I've been a hypocrite. I'm trying to learn not to be a hypocrite. So I'll be even with you, man. That's all I ask. And you'll be even with me. So there you go. All right, let's talk a little sports here today. Vikings. I'm excited about this. Chris Cook will be back with the Vikings. He was found not guilty after his girlfriend or the woman that he was with, when he choked her or allegedly choked her and beat her up, allegedly beat her up. She recanted. So, I mean, he not guilty. Obviously, if you're the jury, you got to find the guy not guilty if the woman's going to recant, right? Nothing else you can do. So, anyways, the Vikings have their former criminal back. No longer a criminal, as he was exonerated. And so we got that to look forward to, huh? And I gotta say, I gotta give it credit to Chris Cook's lawyers. They cleaned that kid up. I mean, he didn't even look like the same guy that you'd like see in the mugshot, or when he used to play for the Vikings. I think he had kind of the dreadlocks and stuff, the kind of the longer hair. But yeah, they cleaned him up. They put a suit on him. I mean, he looked really good, I gotta say. He looked like a handsome kid. But I guess that's what you gotta do when you're on trial for part of your life, right? Anyway, so yeah, whatever. NFL, lots of criminals in the NFL, and I guess thankfully Chris Cook of the Vikings is no longer a criminal. So congratulations to Chris on the not guilty thing and the woman recanting. So very nice. Things are going Chris Cook's way now. Impressive young man. No Timberwolves trades. The trade deadline happened Thursday afternoon in the NBA, and the Timberwolves did not make a deal. There was a lot of crazy rumors floating around out there. The biggest rumor was that the Timberwolves were going to acquire Jamal Crawford, kind of a guy that's been on every team. He seems like a chucker, a guy that does nothing but shoot. In fact, I was reading about him. Apparently he scored 50 points for like 3 different teams during the course of his, 6, 7, 8-year career so far. He signed as a free agent in Portland, and the NBA, as you probably know, or you don't know, is that everybody changes teams in the NBA like 45 times. It's rare to find a player that will stay with one organization the entire time. So like we look at Ricky Rubio and we look at Kevin Love and we think, oh yeah, baby, we're going to be a world champion one day if these guys deliver. You know, Derek Williams comes on strong and Niko Pekovic is rocking it, baby. We're going to have a championship team. No, odds are that all those guys are going to end up being demand a trade or go free agency somewhere. So anyways, it's Jamal Crawford kid. You know, he seems like a pretty good player. He's just, you know, as I said, a chucker. All he does is shoot, which really is probably something the Timberwolves don't need. And then there was talk that there was going to be a 3-team deal with the Lakers and the Trailblazers and who was the other one? Oh, the Timberwolves, obviously. They were going to send Michael Beasley to the Lakers. And then the Lakers would send a first-round pick or Steve Blake, a first-round pick or Steve Blake to the Portland Trailblazers. And then the Trailblazers would send Crawford. And there was a word in there that Luke Rittenauer was going to be a part of the deal as well. And the Timberwolves were only going to get Crawford back for Beasley and Rittenauer. I think it's a horrible deal. They'd be crazy to do that deal. So, and thankfully they didn't make a deal. I'm glad that they stood pat. Hopefully JJ Barea, Mr. Street Clothes as I call him, will be able to play the rest of the season. I'm not too optimistic about it, but hopefully Mr. Street Clothes will be in action now every game for the rest of the season. The Timberwolves Thursday night were in Utah, so hopefully they came out pretty good there. And of course they get the Lakers tonight. Oh, baby. I think it's time for a little payback on Kobe, if you ask me. And a little judo chop. Little judo chop. Can you deal with that? No, you can't, Kobe. Because I'm going to judo chop. Kick. That's what I'm going to do, baby. That's what the Timberwolves are going to do. So it'll be interesting to see what Michael Beasley does the rest of the year. Whether Beasley is going to sulk or if he's going to come out and try to kick some butt. I hope it would be the latter. But I worry it's the former. I mean, the kid is so talented, but, you know, he's just not a smart player. You know, he just doesn't seem to have his head in the game. Maybe he's daydreaming or something. That's what it seems like to me. Williams, on the other hand, who plays kind of the same position, though he's more of a power forward, it seems. Of course, you can compare Beasley and Williams because they kind of do a lot of the same thing. They got the outside game. They got the inside game. They can rebound. It seems like Williams is getting better. I'm hopeful there. Now, of course, he'll probably stink and go 0 for 7 or something tonight from the from the paint, and no rebounds, 1 assist or something. Anyways, hopefully not, but yeah. Hopefully the Bees, Mrs. Beasley, as I love to affectionately call him. Hopefully Mrs. Beasley will rock it now, and rock it, baby. Little rocket, little Def Leppard style, or rocket a little Herbie Hancock style. Say the Vikings, I see, signed a tight end the other day. John Carlson. I really don't know anything about him other than apparently he's a Minnesota boy, so that's obviously going to make Sid Hartman happy. You know, Sid's all about bringing the Minnesota kids home, whether it's Terry Steinbach or Paul Molitor or Jack Morris, you know. So Sid, I'm sure, is doing a dance right now. It's interesting to see what the Vikings will do there. I didn't even know that Vincent, I can't even say his name, Vicente Shenko was a free agent. I always liked Shenko, and it's kind of sad to see him go, but I guess the Vikings are going to go with this John Carlson kid, and kind of a double tight end set with the new guy, Maya Rudolph. No, that's not right. That's the chick from Bridesmaids. That's not Maya Rudolph, Rudy Rudolph. No, that's the kid from the movie Rudy. What was his name? John Rudolph. No. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Kyle Rudolph. Thank you. Neil Peart. Or is it Peart? Peart? It's Peart today. But Tuesday it was Peart. Today it's Peart. Okay. Neil Peart. I can't say that, Neil. It sounds too weird. Neil Peart. Always in studio, of course, when we do the big show. He refuses to come on mic. I can appreciate that. He says he is the greatest drummer in the world. I would argue Alex Van Halen, but we had that discussion last show. But anyways, Neil Peart, thank you very much. Kyle Rudolph is you sure know your Vikings. You're from Canada. Aren't you like watching Warren Moon in the CFL? What's all the... Well, yeah, I understand that. You like the cold weather, you know. You don't like the taxes in Canada? But you're living in Minnesota, you like the taxes here? Yeah, whatever. He likes the weather, I guess. So, anyways, thank you, Neil. I appreciate that. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Vikings there, because we've got 2 tight ends now, and maybe they're going to do like New England does. Of course, New England has the double tight end set with, what is it, Angel Hernandez? Is that his name? Aaron Hernandez. I want to call him Angel for some reason. Aaron Hernandez. Excuse me. And then also... who's the other tight end there? Rod Gronkowski. I think that's what his name is. I'm not sure, though. Not good with names. Sorry. So maybe we can replicate the success of the New England Patriots. I know that Wes Welker, I think Wes Welker's a free agent. If we could just get Wes Welker in here, we'd be all set. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. What else is going on? One of the things I worry about doing today's show is I'm thinking I'm going to have nothing to talk about. I got nothing to talk about. Well, turns out I got like a poopery of topics, as always. But I'm going to run out of time here because we try to keep it right around 30 minutes, baby. So you can go for your power walk in the morning, listen to the big show, and then go to work and say, man, that guy is crazy, baby. But hey, Neil Peart, whatever. It's like Oprah, Oma, Oprah, Oma, oh, whatever. New iPad arrives on Friday. It's out, baby. Are you going to buy one? I had a friend of mine who, he always says, I'm going to wait for the 3rd generation before I buy something. And sure enough, the day the iPad 3 was announced, or whatever it's called now, he sends me an email, just ordered an iPad. I'm like, you're crazy, dude. At least the guy lives up to his word, though, right? Anyways, I don't have one. I bought a Kindle Fire from Amazon when it came out, as I was very hopeful, $199 price point. I haven't used it hardly at all. I wanted to read on it. As it turns out, I found it to be too heavy. I wanted to read in the dark, which I don't know if you can with the Kindle Fires. No, the Kindles. Yeah, the Kindles. I guess that's what I should find out one time, if you can read in the dark. Because I kind of like to read if I wake up in the middle of the night, can't get back to sleep. Hey, I want to read a little bit. So, but yeah, the Kindle Fire has basically been bricked. Not even using it. It was a big waste of money, unfortunately. The iPad has an appeal, but at the moment it doesn't have that much of an appeal. I'm thinking about starting a new venture, a website, mobile kind of venture. I'll be interested to tell you guys about it coming up in the future. But as for right now, it's on the QT, baby. It's very hush-hush. It's, what do they call it? Under the radar. It's in stealth mode. That's the internet speak. The paradigm for my business is in stealth mode. You know it's true, everybody. You're bringing on the heartbreak. Neil? You know it? You know it? Winger? Oh my God. It's Def Leppard. Oh my God. They weren't hair metal. No. They weren't hair metal in the 80s. They were hair metal in the 90s, actually. That one album they put out, which wasn't the best album, that Adrenalize album, but you remember that? Let's Get Rocked. Ugh, and they still do that song. Apparently Def Leppard Poison doing a tour this year. I'm sure they're going to be playing the Minnesota State Fair because that's what Def Leppard always plays, it seems. What's the other? Oh, Kiss and Motley Crue apparently doing a big tour. And of course, Rush, you have the new album coming out, right? Have you written all the lyrics? Sometime this summer, Neil? June 25th, is it? May 25th? I don't know. You won't say, but I think I can find it on the internet. Crap. Nuts to you, Neil. Pierre. You like when I say that, Neil? Yeah, whatever. He says I'm sexy when I say it, so whatever. Neil Peart off mic all the time. Yes, I can have a conversation with someone off mic. And they are off mic, and I am off the grid, baby. So anyways, the iPad, I don't know. Not interested at the moment, but maybe in the future. We're definitely moving to that type of situation. It's interesting that nobody's been able to compete with the iPad yet. So we'll see what happens there. All right, how we doing on time? I think we're running along today. So I'm just going to kind of wrap it up with just a little quick first customer here after all my rantings about KSTP and the sexy thighs and what is it with the sexy feet and the sexy thighs at KSTP? Of course, originally I called her fat thighs, but you know, that was just mean and wrong. I was just having some fun because he was double chin Charlie or whatever his name is. So just having some fun there. Of course, please don't use that reference in reference to anything else. That's the moral of the story. So first customer, what is first customer? I want to be your first customer. I'm begging you, let me be your first customer. I have some money set aside. I want to be your first customer. I don't have $8,000 set aside for you to build me a chopper. But you invite me over, let me ride your chopper, and I say, wow, this is a hell of a vehicle. I come back on the show, I say, wow, this kid's choppers that he's building, this Javier Laureano Gaitan guy can build a hell of a chopper. My God, it's the most amazing chopper I ever saw. And then plus I put it on the Hey Twin Cities website at heytc.com. And maybe we can find you some business. Of course, if you make brownies or scissors, you know, as long as you're not running with the scissors, you're probably going to be okay. Or if you make telephones, I could use a new telephone. Telephone's kind of hard to make though, huh? It's probably a bad example. Maybe you build custom cabinets. People do that, right? People like to work with the wood. I know I like to work with my wood. Hey. I get that hey from Tom Bernard at KQ. Whatever happened to his ratings? Woo-wee. Sorry, Tommy. You know, at first I hated you, then I loved you, and now I'm kind of indifferent. But I wish you nothing but the best because he's definitely been a staple of Twin Cities radio for a long time. What else is going on? Oh, that's it. Yeah. So first customer. Hey, if you're unemployed, you're on welfare, you're on disability, you're on something else. Welfare, disability. There's almost 4 things I mentioned. Welfare, disability, unemployment, or, well, maybe it's just, or if you just got a crappy job and, you know, you want to do something better with your life, you want to pursue your dreams. Hey, I want to help. I want to be there for you. I want to be your first customer. Shoot me an email, tc@heytc.com. That's T as in twin, C as in cities, and heytc.com. Not too shabby, right? All right. Big show in the book. Let's put it in the book. for March 16th of 2012. Happy St. Patty's Day tomorrow, and I will see you in the emergency room.